Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter. I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York. And if you're already doing how to grow your business, I'm sorry I'm not going to be looking at the camera much because I'm driving and traffic sucks. And we're going to talk today about, can you wholesale a listed property? And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you some information on how you can get a lot more information about this. So the answer is technically you can. There is nothing stopping you from wholesaling a listed property, but practically it's very difficult. So there's two parts to wholesaling, right? There's buying the property at a deep enough discount that you can then make money assigning it. And then there's finding a buyer who will take this assignment and pay you more than you're in for it. Both ends of those are very hard on a listed property. So first, let's talk about the first end: buying a property at a deep enough discount that's listed for sale. So I can't tell you how many people I speak to say, I'm gotten into this business, I'm working on listed properties, and I always tell them it's not a good place to start looking for properties. Now, the reason why listed properties are not a good place to look for properties to buy at a discount is because, let's just face reality. If something's listed for sale, I'm at a stop sign now, and it's not selling, there's only one reason why it's not selling. Now, I know this is something that blows people's minds because they think, well, maybe the property's crappy. Maybe the property is in bad shape. Maybe it's a bad location. There's only one reason why a property doesn't sell when it's listed, and that is it's priced too high. Now, why do I say that? I say that because even if it's in the worst condition and even if it's in the worst location, there is a price for it. I mean, where we live, there's definitely a price for it. In anywhere around New York, there's a price for it. So if it is listed and not selling, it's probably not going to be a deal you can buy for deep enough discount, because the price that they're asking is not, it has not triggered a buyer to come in and say, I'll buy it for that price. So now, are there situations where listed properties have some kind of specific issue that's preventing people from getting inside? Yes, there's an uncooperative tenant, there's no access, it's condemned and you can't get inside, and then sometimes people that can't get inside, they won't buy it. Yes, it's possible. Have I bought listed properties that I've wholesaled? Yes, probably a dozen times out of a lot of deals, right? So the two that come to mind, one was I saw it listing come out. I realized it was priced way low. I made him an offer very close to asking, but told him I don't want any open houses or showings. He agreed. I got into contract. I didn't wholesale it, actually. I closed on it. I wholetailed it. I didn't do anything to it. I think I just cleaned it out, sold it. I did great on it. Another one, I've spoken about it before. Recently, a woman called me. Property was listed for like $700,000. I looked at it. First she tells me it's listed. As soon as the seller tells me it's listed, I say, listen, I got to buy things at a discount. If it's listed, we're probably not going to do business. Usually that pushes them back and eliminates a lot of people wasting my time. But in this case, she said, no, I want you to come. Now, if somebody says, okay, I want you to come, that's a good sign. And I told her, listen, you don't need to sell it to an investor. I go, just drop the price to $599. I think you'll sell it right away. She goes, no, I want you to come. I came. After a long discussion, she had an issue with the property. I bought it for $450. 2 days later, I sold it for $575. And I took care of the issue, and that was it. So, can it happen? Sure, it can happen. If you have a very motivated seller, that can happen. It can also happen in a situation like I discussed, where you get it right away, and it can happen in a situation where nobody has access to it, and maybe you can get access to it by breaking in or something like that. Which I don't recommend. It's probably may or may not be illegal. Depends where you are. It's actually legal no matter what. But I've broken into a lot of houses, always vacant houses, to see what the story is. So hopefully that will not be used against me in a court of law. Now, so that's the first step. So first of all, if it's listed, you're probably not going to be able to buy it at enough of a discount. That's number one. But assuming you can, let's say it's one of the situations I just described, and you can buy it. Your big problem is that you then need to sell it at a discount. You need to find a buyer who's also not going to notice that it's listed for sale, and every buyer is going to Google it and find it somewhere. So you need to still be able to sell it for enough of a discount that it's well below the asking price, right? Because in general, most of my cash buyers list, right? I don't have the biggest cash buyers list. I don't know what is it, 600, 800, but they want off-market properties, right? The same reason I want off-market properties, right? If something's listed on the market for exactly the reason I just told you, if it's listed and it hasn't sold, then why the hell would they pay the asking price? Right? Unless there's some really good story to it. So you have both ends of this transaction are going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to buy it at a deep enough discount, and it's going to be difficult for you to find a buyer for it. Now, again, there are exceptions, but I promise you that if you are trying to get into this business and you are working on listed properties, you are taking a more difficult route. Now, you may say it's a very difficult route to buy off-market properties, right? I have to market, I have to spend money and or time. It takes a long time. Yeah, I say it takes 12 to 18 months to get your first deal. So you could say, maybe I'll get lucky on these. You can, but understand, the beauty of going off-market and talking to a seller, certainly in our area, is that usually you're going to be one of the only people making an offer on it, and you have a good chance to buy that property. If you're talking to a property that's listed for sale to the realtor, for example, you can think that you have a deal, and then somebody else comes in, swoops in 5 seconds after you, and pays more, and it's gone. In other words, it's up for grabs. It's a situation where everybody's got usually the same information you have. When you have an off-market property, you have a direct line to a seller that could be talking to other investors, it's true, but may not be. I would say, I'm trying to, it's a very hard number to know, because very often sellers will lie to you and say, I have another offer, I just had a situation where a seller told me he had another offer. I made an offer, I stayed firm. I was significantly below what he told me he had it as an offer. I usually discount when they tell me they have another price or another offer, and then he called me and said, I need to close in a couple of days. Will you match my other offer? I go, no, I'm where I was. And that happens all the time. But because I'm direct to seller, and making offers on every property that I go to see, you have an opportunity, a much better opportunity to buy a property than something that's listed, right? Where a realtor is out there, gets a call, somebody throws a number at him, and he just says, yeah, you're outbid. It's different, right? It's the red ocean, blue ocean, right? Red ocean is where a bunch of sharks are chomping at all the chum, and a blue ocean is where it's clear and beautiful, right? I really prefer to operate in a blue ocean as opposed to a red ocean. I usually consider anything that's listed as a red ocean because it's open for anyone to see. Again, there are exceptions, but if you are starting in this business, I promise you will be a much happier person going on a direct-to-seller marketing campaign, spending the time and money for that, even though it takes a long time, then you will be going to look at properties that are listed. Now, there are many people who do what I do and get a lot of business off of listed properties. That's fine. If you're gonna actually flip properties, you can get more of them, but it's very hard in our area to do it. And like I said, I'm not interested in competing with the world on a deal. I want to be the only one, ideally, or I want to be one of the only ones that's making offers. Because when a seller is calling you and they have some kind of deep motivation, where am I going? Taking the Van Wyck. Has some kind of deep motivation, and they're contacting you, you giving them an offer after really finding out what their problem is, an offer that solves their problem, is a big deal. But somebody who's throwing a property out there, listing it with an agent, even if they have a deep motivation, very often they're anchored on that asking price. And again, I'll say it 1,000 times, if it hasn't sold, it's only because that price is too high. That's it. It's the only reason. So, can you wholesale a listed property? Yes. Is it easy? No. Both sides of the transaction are going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for you to buy it right, and it's going to be a challenge for you to find someone to assign it to. So, I would advise against it. Unfortunately, I have people calling me all the time saying, hey, a house up the block, they're asking for sale, they're asking $4.99, and I think it's worth $5.25. Great. Unless I can buy it for $4.25 and it's in good shape, it's probably not a deal. So I had to really educate a lot of people about when you should call me with a deal or not. I do not want to know about a property that's listed for sale. I do not want to know about a property that you saw that's in disrepair. I only want to know about a property when you've spoken to, I got a cop right next to me who's going to see me holding this phone. When you've spoken to a seller and you tell me a story and I understand what the story is that's going on. So that is my answer to this complicated question. Can you? Yes. Is it easy? No. I would advise against doing it. I would certainly advise against trying it when you're starting out. right? Things do fall into my lap occasionally, like the one I spoke about, but in general, you want to be dealing with direct seller off-market properties. I hope this was helpful. If you are interested in learning more about how all this works, I have a course that I sell to teach it, and it's found at howtoflipnewyork.com/course. If you are interested in a bunch of ways that I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you are watching on any media, which I assume you are, please click like. The likes really help my search engine optimization, my SEO, and lets more people see my videos. What else do I say? Oh, keep the comments coming. I really like comments. I try to answer all my comments. So if your comment is just an easy answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's a topic that I've covered in detail on a few videos, I'll send you links to the videos. And if it's a topic that I haven't covered or something I haven't covered recently, I may do a video on it. So please keep the comments coming. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'm sitting in traffic on the Van Wyck as I expected.